There we
But we
go,
need
that's
to-
fancy.
Stop it. I can. What I want. Let's see. How can we, let me see. Does Dawn have an email? Do we have Dawn's email?
Yeah.
Or can she? It might have actually been on city.
We tried to find it, Rylan and I. Oh, look at us.
I mean, we're here. Let me see if I can just copy it and send it to her.
Well, I can send an email from the computer here.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing it right now on mine. It's fine.
I'll just wait.
And you have Dawn's email, right?
Sure should.
Does anybody know what the password is for the Wi-Fi here?
Capital S, it's a spring 2018 altogether, and I think it's a capital S. You want me to do anything, Dana?
No, I'm copying it to send to her. Oh, nuts. How do I not have her?
Is it spring capitalized, Rylan?
What's that?
Capital S is.
Capital S?
In spring 2018 altogether.
Katie,
Yes.
not finding her email. Okay. Must have it, but, oh, wait, Littleton?
Yeah.
Does that work for you, Lance?
It's grinding away.
Oh, no.
Yep, there it goes.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
So the one I use is littleton.dawn@gmail.com.
Yeah. Okay. You want to send her a message saying, check your email.
Right? All right. I'm just gonna call her quick because that might be the most effective.
Hello.
Hi, Dawn. We just emailed you the link.
Okay, I'm gonna try to get into it now. I'm having a few issues here. Would it be, did you email it to littleton.dawn?
Yes.
Yes, it's
Okay,
from Dana.
Okay, hopefully that'll work. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. All right. So I'm feeling highly prepared today. We've got this nice memo that we got from Lance. I don't know if you got a chance to read any of the stuff because I only sent it to you yesterday. Several things.
I saw the agenda for November and December, that was it.
Okay. And then last week I would have sent one about today's agenda. So I have to read my phone, so I give you guys the correct information. Justin is in Abu Dhabi.
Oh my God.
What the heck? He started a new job, right?
Yeah, but I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Would Mayo Clinic have something out there? They might,
Oh, they might, yeah.
right?
So he's working for Mayo now?
Yeah, that was gonna be his announcement the day after our meeting last week.
Perfect. Dawn, can you hear us?
So I asked him why he went, but I didn't get a chance.
You're muted, Don. There you go.
Nice.
Okay, there you go.
Whoa,
Yep.
Fantastic.
place on high.
Can you hear me okay? Some of us are in masks.
So far I can hear you, yeah.
This is good stuff. This is what we paid the big money for, right, you guys? All right. So, Dana, I can kind of help you out too, but Dana was so generous to offer to do our minutes, so I'm pretty excited about that. So, let me know later if you need help with the present and absent and stuff, but, Ron Fuller did tell me that he wasn't gonna be able to come, but kind of like a observer anyway. So, then I did send out the December meeting minutes. Did anyone see anything that we should change on there?
Just looked at them, they look pretty familiar.
Right? Okay, good.
Make a motion. For
All right.
I'll second it.
Fantastic, thank you. And then are there any additions to the agenda?
We have to vote on.
Oh, that's right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Minutes are good. And will hopefully be downloaded online soon. Is the plan. We have October on there, but November and December we're missing, so I emailed them. And maybe that'll happen this week.
I don't think so. They're not working this week. I don't think, are they?
Are they working at all this week?
Maybe they were back today, tomorrow.
Okay.
Be back tomorrow?
Yes, City Hall will be back tomorrow. Yes. Well,
Does anyone have any additions to the agenda?
I've lost it.
Can't find it. Ooh,
There it is.
that looks good.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, sign. All right, motion approved. Okay. Ryland, would you like to visit about the Zumba Water Trail, please?
No update on the water trail. I did send, they did spend 5 hours this past fall doing assignment or inventory of the different locations, but I sent an email before Christmas asking for what exactly they did during that 5 hours, but have not heard a response back. City minutes,
So you said someone else spent 5 hours doing it, or you did?
no, the engineering company that we hired, SEH. They did the inventory and hopefully I'll have a response here after holidays. Find out exactly what they did do.
That sounds good.
I'll share that in February.
Okay,
Council meetings, there was 2 things on the parks agenda. One was the final payment for the last portion that we owe Dirt Pros for the river restoration for $144,087. So that project is done and we have 90 days to close out the project with FEMA. All the paperwork, a whole bunch of paperwork and the plans. It won't be done. That's good.
now, who does that FEMA paperwork? Is that Joe Palin or one of the council members?
What's that?
Who does all the FEMA paperwork? Is there?
Joe Palin and city staff, and Joe, do most of it.
Okay.
And the other was the arborist quote to remove the 7 trees at Orinoco Park. That was approved and we approved paying $4,500 out of the 2021 budget. And the remaining $1,275 will be paid in the 2022 budget. Was approved to be done. They will haul the wood and brush away and grind the stumps. And public will fill them in.
Now, are those trees different than the trees you talked about in here, Lance?
So
Some are different than what's on here? Okay. So Dawn, it sounds like, do you have control over that? So I can see if she can see me?
See what?
Oh, just, yeah.
Minimize that? Awesome, okay, because I don't know where I'm looking. This is weird, because she's up there, but the camera's over there. Okay, Dawn.
I think I see you, you're holding a piece of paper in one hand.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
I can see that much.
So I'm trying to figure out what the Ryland's talking about 7 trees at Orinoco Park that were ready to remove. And then I'm curious as to how that is different than the ones that we have in this paragraph that I sent you.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
wondering the same.
Okay, so we'll talk about that here a little bit. What do you think, Ryland? You know? Oh, that's cute. Oh, yeah, we could use that camera instead, right?
I'm zooming into you.
Okay. So,
I don't think it's very important that you guys can see me. So if it's distracting, or I don't know what you're looking at, but I can turn off the video and listen and I can see you guys.
that's okay. Yeah, so you can hear me okay from here, right?
Absolutely, yep.
Okay. So the 7 trees that you just mentioned with the 4,500 and the 1,275,
Right? That was the quote.
which, that means that we're ready to go with those, right? Or are we going to,
We approved to cut them down, yes.
okay. So does that mean that'll be done like over the winter or something?
Okay, that was not on my list.
And,
I mean, I made reference to it, but I never had a piece of paper that showed that as a estimate or a bill.
so would we need to modify this because we are already ready for 7 trees to be removed and then do this other stuff? Or what do you think we need to do? I'm confused
I
now.
don't know. That's why this is all very confusing.
Yeah, so,
7 trees, I think, were total different from your program that you're looking for inventory.
Well, I was including them, but
Oh, okay.
if they're already going to be gone, then they won't be included in the grant.
Yeah, okay.
did you see this?
No.
Okay, so go ahead and look at that. So let's just step back then, I guess, for a minute, if that's okay, and go over what Lance has to propose so that we can decide how this works, because if that was at the December 21st meeting, it just means that the city has agreed to pay that, and that would be done within this winter or something?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Can I ask a quick question? What,
Yeah.
because we have I'll call it a competing grant, I'm not sure that it's competing, but, or, I mean, that we're considering applying for. I'm curious how this separate thing, separate item about ash trees came up to the city council.
We received a quote from Kane that he got from Arborist to remove the 7 trees.
Okay, was that John? Okay, John, so it sounds like, was there, I just wonder, I think we're sort of stepping on each other's feet in terms of a potential grant and getting the city to pay for removing trees.
Well,
So,
yeah, I'm a little confused too, because I didn't realize that was already in the works, because John and I went around and we talked about those trees, and we kind of had talked about maybe we'd leave 2 or 3 of them that weren't as bad shape, but no, obviously that wasn't.
do you think maybe John got us just maybe confused and sent it to Cole, not knowing that the grant was underway, that the grant?
No, he
You know-
knows, because we've discussed that at length, so he was on board, but I didn't realize that was already a done deal by the time.
Okay,
by the
well,
time
have the
we
tree-
talked about it.
have the trees been cut down yet?
No,
Okay,
and
so,
they probably won't be for a
I'm
while.
guessing the conversation that you and John had, you would have shared that with Kane when they, or sometime when he talked to Kane, either he talked to Kane either after your conversation or
Yeah, he must have, because,
Before the conversation, him and Kane must have decided it was better to remove them now than spend the money to treating them.
yeah, well, that, he must have talked to Kane afterwards, because we were kind of talking about leaving 2 or 3 of them that weren't in such terrible shape, so.
Can I suggest, I mean, just to save time here, that we talk about the grant now and see if what's been approved can fit under the grant?
I don't think we can spend anything retroactively.
No, I know, but if the trees haven't come down yet, we could apply for their removal or whatever treatment, whatever it is, via the grant first. And if that, if we don't get the grant, then there is money to remove them, but maybe the grant can cover, I mean, it's,
Yeah,
so my suggestion was, can we start with talking about the grant first? And then,
Sure.
And maybe
Sure.
not, and just
Well,
not deciding,
here's the issue
deciding-
with the grant. There's a problem with the grant. In the
Okay.
fact that, because there's a lot of disagreement as to how to deal with the ash trees.
Disagreement from who?
Me and Kane
Oh, okay.
and John Marks.
what, so isn't that why we have a committee though?
Exactly.
So that, okay, so can we
That's-
just,
That's the point. That's the point of why we're having this discussion.
okay,
So.
good.
I suggested that because the trees that are around the community center have been treated and should continue to be treated. And then there are some street trees like about by the bridge and on 3rd Street Southeast that are in the city right of way that are in pretty tough shape. And so those should go. And then I guess, well, I had included these 7 trees as well. And that, you know, that we can, I guess if they're gonna be gone, I can include their removal in the grant.
Well, can you just talk about your recommendation? I mean, we hear that, what is your recommendation? And
Well, my recommendation is that we treat maybe up to 6 trees in town that are, there's a couple of big ones one over at Orinoco Park. That's by where the garage is. And, oh no, I mean, it's right by the entry to the park. And then there are the 4 that are here around this community center. There was one more that I can't remember. I think there's one by the city garage that could be treated. Anyway, so there's a total, if I can remember now, I think it's a total of 12 or 14 trees that should be removed, plus the 7 that are in the
They will be treated.
and I think that's incorrect now, because I had included some that were in Orinoco Park in that circle.
may I ask a few questions now, or,
Yeah,
sorry,
go
my
ahead.
light,
No, go ahead.
I just lost my light here. Oh, there it goes. So I know, so we talk about this like it's a what, so if the 12 trees that are removed, about how much will it, would we like to replace those 12 trees?
No.
So those,
not all
they
of them.
don't, but, okay, so about how many do we want to, I mean, I just want to do like a cost analysis. Or-
You know, I'm at the point now where I'm not sure that we'll replace any of them.
Okay, so let's just say for now that that's a 0 replace, so future costs on this would be 0. Potentially, and this is just potentially.
Yeah, I wouldn't rule that. I wouldn't say that that's completely true, but
Okay,
for
so,
the time being, yes.
okay, or say $600. Something, if we treat the 7 trees over 10 years, how much would that cost? Or 20 years?
Well, it's roughly about $1,600 every 2 years,
For all the trees or per tree?
all the trees. Unless
So
the
it's-
price goes up.
Unless what?
Unless the cost goes up, but, you know, that,
Okay,
it's,
So
at
it's-
at the current rate, it's 200, or it's $99 per diameter inch. And we have, what did I total up here? Roughly 77, 98. Yeah, there's about, it's 800, 900, 882 times two. It should be about $1,700 every 2 years.
so it's about, I'll say $900 per year.
Right.
I mean, on average, okay.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Okay, and then with the grant, and I know we haven't got it, but with the grant, I believe there was no matching funds. It's whatever money we get, we get.
Right.
Okay, I'm just thinking about, what, making not me, but the committee, where we want, if we, treating it doesn't just mean treating it this time, it means treating it for, I think, the life of the tree. Which is not good or bad. I'm just trying to get an understanding.
Right. Well, I think that's the argument on the other side is that, that why should we pay, why don't we just pay the one time or 2 times to have all the trees removed, and then we're done with it, and we don't have to deal with it again. Except that then there would be some I think around here, there should be some replacements. Maybe in the parks, it's not such a big deal.
So I think these, or the majority of the 7 that could possibly be treated are right around City Hall.
Yeah, there's 4 around City Hall, and there's a couple on other city property. So
Okay.
there's, I'm gonna, because I have to go back and look at all this, because all these numbers have changed since there's new
Okay.
information.
So it'd be like, you could think of the trees as I mean, if we want to make an argument to save them, the trees are decorations or, beautiful, very tall, that are somewhat irreplaceable at this point. You can't just put in another, I presume they're pretty tall trees. So that quote unquote aesthetic or decoration is about $900 a year.
Right.
Okay.
900 or 1,600?
900, because it's $1,800 per 2
And
year.
then,
Because
yeah,
you only.
so I'm just saying it annually. And then also, how do they serve wildlife?
Well, that's got nothing to do with it.
Well,
What-
it kind of,
They feed emerald ash borer.
right. But I mean, are they considered a pollinator species? Are they considered a bird nesting site?
There's nothing in the grant that has any bearing on any of that.
Yeah, no, I'm not suggesting it does. I'm just trying to inform myself.
Oh,
The value, the value of the tree.
no, not really.
Does the shade they provide have?
Yeah, I mean,
utility?
there are environmental benefits.
Yeah, okay.
It's just not related to wildlife.
Okay, so they benefit humans in terms of better air, shading, they keep the streets cooler, they keep the ground cooler, et cetera.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I just want to get an understanding.
Yep. So, I mean, I can go. The other thing that I've started to write is they require a plan, a management plan for emerald ash borer. So I've had to kind of rework the plan that I had written for the street trees. And so that includes all of the parks that have ash trees in them. And I've really not included any of the trees, ash trees that are located in wooded areas as part of the parks. Like Garden Park and River Park both have ash trees in the woods, and those aren't included. Because that's just typical management. I mean, if they die and they'll be taken down. And there's no replacement. It's those that are on Boulevard, and we don't have, that's the other question is, most cities have curb and gutter and boulevards and so on. Well, we have the right of way, and we have to manage the trees that are in that right of way because they're part of their city responsibility. But we don't necessarily replace those. We would replace those that might be in the park system, you know, on public ground in the parks. So
What do you need decided today?
well, I mean, I just need to know, I just need some guidance because I'm not willing to make this decision on my own. So I would like the committee to say, yes, let's treat some trees, or no, let's not treat any of the trees and we'll just remove them all and then we'll figure out where to replace them.
So I guess may I throw out to the committee, how does the committee feel favorable or unfavorable about committing to 7 trees and committing to $900 a year for trees that are in high visibility areas, for the aesthetics of the area? You know, should the plan include that 7 trees remain treated for many years, and they obviously are landmarks in the community? Let's start with that.
I would be in favor of treating some of them just so that we're not wiping out everything, if that's something that is feasible.
Sorry, can you say that again? I just got a pop, but go ahead.
So I'm thinking that it's good to treat some of them if that is feasible. So I'm not ready to just wipe them out if we can treat them.
So it's feasible if we understand and agree that $900 a year will keep them from being killed by emerald ash borer. So I guess it's the money. I don't know really much about the budget. How much of that is our budget? And that's
Well, how much of that would we get from the grant at the same time, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, we would, I'm not sure how much forward I can request, at least for 2 years. I have to look back at the wording in the grant, the request for proposals, to see if you can request money for years beyond. You know, the life of the grant goes, I think, until 2024. So I think that's basically 2 years. So we could treat now and treat in 2024. So I could ask for two treatments, and that would be 36, let's say for $4,000 for an estimate. And then the rest would just be removal. And that's, let's see, there's 5 plus 4, that's 9. And I think there's probably a couple others minus the 7 that are in the Orinoco Park. So I would say it's up to 12 trees that would be removed total. I have to go back and look at my numbers again because they've all gotten changed now with some difference.
I like your idea about the high visibility areas, and I would go along with the parks. I know, removing the 7 trees, in my mind, that's a decision that's been made by the council.
Right, that's done.
And there's something to be said about new trees in the park too. Yeah, mature trees are nice, but everybody in the world knows that emerald ash borers have a finite life. And either we can put money into treating, and we can do that too for some of them. And some of them, like the 7 that we have in the driveway, I would say we continue with removing those, and we would work with the trees that are in the parks, that are in the visible around the playground areas, and treating them, but recognize there's a minimal amount of money that could be throwing away by treating them. If they live, that's fine. If they don't.
Right, and you know, I mean, it's like insurance. You know, you pay insurance whether you have a claim or not, and so it's sort of that same principle, I guess.
Are any of them at risk right now?
Well, I'm sure they're all infected except for maybe the ones that are treated.
But I mean, they're like health wise, are they at risk for, damage, anything like that, storm dam, you know, I'm just thinking like, are they risking our buildings? Are they risking anything? like that? If there's any of those, then
No.
I don't think we should, I wouldn't want to treat anything that's a potential risk
Right,
to
and,
buildings.
and I guess that was the one question I had with there's a tree right, which way is the Alamo, right?
Towards the Alamo.
Yeah, there's one right by the Alamo, which could be either way. It sort of depends on, you know, I know people that come to Gold Rush like it because there's some shade there in an area that's got no other shade. And then there's the three on the east side of the Minnesota Avenue, on the south side of the bridge. And then there's one right across, kind of catty corner across the street by the fire hydrant. Those four would be scheduled to go because I don't think I can't think of a good reason to keep them.
The other comment is about the trees in the right of way. The trees in the right of way are not city property. They're owned, you know, those are trees that are owned by the residents, just like the grass.
Sure.
Yes. Trees in the right of way do not belong to the city. The city, the homeowner is responsible for the tree. And if the tree starts to overgrow the street,
Right.
8 feet or 13 feet, then the city has that we can offer to the homeowner. They need to clean it up, or the city will do it and they have to pay us. But typically those trees are not owned by the city, so.
Yeah, I'm a little confused.
What's that?
I'm a little confused on how that, because they're in the street right of way. And the
Right, but-
city has to maintain the street right of way.
No,
No.
homeowners have to maintain the right of way. We can use the right of way to, you know, put fiber optic cable or sewer and gas and water lines. But a homeowner has to maintain it, just like you have to maintain your side, if you had curb and gutter, if you had right of way.
Yeah.
In, like, when we lived in Rochester, you have to maintain your sidewalk. You have to, if your sidewalk is
I
destroyed, you have to
understand.
pay for
Yeah,
it.
okay.
You have to pay for the trees in the boulevard, whatever.
All right.
So
Well,
it's,
that removes about, well, those that are by the bridge, those are
well, and the Alamo one, is that on that property or city property?
it's on city property.
That one
I
is,
think it is.
It's a city property tree. Yeah.
that one is,
So
okay.
that's a city tree, so we're. city
Well, how do
takes care of it.
you classify the ones that are by the bridge?
Well, are the ones in Garden Park?
You mean the ones like just south of the,
Alice Park, I'm sorry. They're different? They're not in Alice Park.
No, they're right on they're right by the bridge.
Yeah, that would be city, that would be a residence property. Just like mowing grass. They have to mow the grass up to the curb.
It's a
You take care of your
there's a sidewalk
sidewalk.
in the way.
If you want to plant a tree in the right of way, you have to get a right of way permit.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
I was gonna say something last meeting and I thought, no, I wanted to correct you and I don't want to take time away from the meeting, but about right of way trees, but that's.
All right. Well, then we might as well forget the whole thing, except for those trees that are being treated and those that are already being taken out in Orinoco Park.
well, what about these?
Well, those are fine. Yeah, we can include those. But as far as any of the others, then they're off the grant.
So are there ash trees in Cowden Park or River Park or Garden Park?
Yeah, but they're all in wooded areas.
Okay, so there's none out in the area that
They're not,
no
no,
mowed grass is out.
no.
Okay.
So
Now you could.
What? I know that cities have, because when things are diseased, despite private property, I think cities have gone in, right? Am I wrong about this? Rochester and required tree removal of certain types of trees or required treatment? What was that in Rochester? What are the other,
If that tree would fall off into the street and block the street,
yeah,
So
No, I know, but I'm
that
just
homeowner's
saying,
responsible for,
I'm just saying as far as disease prevention, if that's what we're worried about, disease prevention and the spread and things like that. How do we,
that's a good, I mean, now you're
how
talking
do
about
we,
people,
how
trees
do
that are
we,
private property.
what is the oak one that gets so bad? What am I thinking of?
Oak wilt? Oak wilt?
Maybe, I
Borough,
don't know.
Borough Blight.
We know we have that.
Well, I don't even agree that that's a thing.
So
Sorry.
what is the, so I'm just wondering, like, if maybe it's something we should look into. What do cities do? Where it's obvious, we're not the first city with this problem. What is,
Well, yeah, I suppose, I mean, some larger cities have asked for money to do replacement on boulevards. And that's a reasonable thing. We don't have enough, I mean, we don't really have boulevards. We don't have boulevards.
This may not, I don't know if this will help or not, but in Rochester, it's been awfully conflicting in that there's a community program which will put if people don't say no, you get a free tree in your in that right of way. But if the tree's roots grow and pop up the sidewalk, the resident needs to pay for that repair, and they need to promise to take care of the tree. So the tree becomes theirs, as well as the liability of the tree. But the community, there's a community group that plants trees. But I felt conflicted because what the community member doesn't realize that if the tree does any damage, it's all, or pop sidewalks, it's their responsibility.
Yeah.
And I know some people were required to remove trees in Rochester. I don't remember the details, but I don't think there's a straight line from this is how it's done. I think it's very, there's lots of sort of conflicting ways of doing it, I guess.
Okay, well then I'll look at this again. I'm not gonna guarantee that I'm gonna get this done, so.
Yeah, because wasn't it in 2 weeks or something?
Well, it's the 24th of January that it has to be submitted, so
so
I'll look at it, but
I think if we are to, if what you need to send to council,
well, I don't think I need to send anything to council.
nothing,
I
okay,
don't think there's anything that council, I mean, yeah, they're not asked to spend any money except for the whatever comes out of our budget
okay,
as far as treating.
okay.
And that would be, I'd include that in the grant, then that cuts down the amount of, basically, there is no money for there's no money for removal, there's only money for treating and then replacement.
The grant is,
The
okay,
grant, yeah,
Oh,
okay,
because you've already spent the money for removal.
for the park, for
Right,
Orno.
and I don't think I'd have to really look back at the grant application to see if I can name things that have already been appropriated and.
Well,
My-
or
For the
we don't
replacement,
worry
right?
about that and we just concentrate on,
Yeah.
and we concentrate on this, on the community center area
And Orinoco Park, because there's a couple.
and whatever's
yeah,
left,
There's
yeah.
some treating over there.
I think that's what we should
Okay,
move
is there a
forward
minimum
with.
level? Is there any minimum amount?
$5,000.
I think that's what we should move forward with. I don't think we should,
There's a maximum of 150,000, so,
We can meet the minimum though.
oh yeah. Okay.
because we could
can go
ask,
for it then.
we could ask to replace, couldn't,
Yeah, I can
You
ask to
ask to
replace them.
replace the
Yeah, I'll
seven
ask for
trees?
trees that are being taken out in the circle or in Orinoco Park. I'll ask for trees, at least 5 trees there
now,
or in the park.
and that is the question, are we planting trees in that circle again, or don't we want them there?
Didn't prove anything.
I
What's
think
that?
that was the overall plan.
Oh, yeah, we want to replace trees. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of, if it comes out of the park budget or a grant program.
Yeah.
But
That's still an open
do we
question.
want them in that parking area, essentially parking area? Because it provides shade for the cars? Is that why we have trees in
They
that
were
circle?
there, the county planted those trees 50, 60 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, something to think about.
I mean, they are
The new
nice
trees
for
we planted-
shade, but I don't know.
The new trees we already planted there 2, 3 years ago. Parks budget. Right.
And they're doing pretty good.
They're great.
Because I was just curious if we wanted to put them, you know, in the same place or if we can replace them in different places. But
Whatever funds we can get.
Yeah,
they worked out okay there.
yeah, they're fine.
Oh, that's it. Okay,
And, I mean, if I asked to plant 15 trees at a cost of $300 a tree, say, with the cost of tree and labor, that, they don't all have, I don't have to say where they're gonna go. We have ideas where we want them to go, but they don't all have to, you don't have to put a flag in the ground and that's where the tree has to go
yeah,
by according to the grant.
okay, that's good.
If you trust me to write this management plan, and that doesn't have to be approved by council, I think that's the only thing I have to include. Plus, I have to include a cost of maintenance, and that's part of this treatment project. And then if we plant trees, there's some costs of maintaining those trees, watering and so on, if we want to add costs like that in. So that, the $5,000 minimum is no problem whatsoever.
Yeah, I think
And no
you're the
matching funds.
expert. I think we would trust you.
Bring it back in February.
We're lucky to have you.
I know. And we will, so yes, thank you, Lance. And
All right, so that can be submitted on January 24th.
Right.
And the council and the Parks and Trails, you have our support, so that's all you need,
Okay, all
right?
right, that's all I need.
Okay,
I just needed the decision about removal versus treating and that kind of thing, so.
I mean, do you guys think if it seems safe, it's okay to treat?
I think it's a good combination. We're removing some and we're treating some, and then we don't have to worry about the right of way ones. So that's all. So I think that like we've come to a good compromise.
So that's one
And I'm
thing.
glad for that conversation because I would have been going off in the wrong direction with that, so.
Well, and it is true. We do have to figure out this whole right of way thing, and I think you guys have started talking about it. I've seen a few things in the minutes and whatnot. And there probably is gonna come a time where we're gonna have to tell a landowner, you need to remove this tree. And how that all works is just how it is.
It's a conversation we'll have, and I mean, the outcome of it is that if they don't do it and it falls across the street, that liability, but also they have to pay the cost to remove it, clean it up.
Yeah, before it falls in the street or after it falls.
After
in
it falls
the
in the street for sure.
street,
Well, and I mean, truly, there might be a lot of trees, those trees, will they survive this sewer project anyway?
Oh, yeah, that's
a good
true.
point,
There's,
yeah.
there's a lot of dead trees in our right of way now.
Right, so I mean, we might lose those in that project anyway, so
That's true.
to be determined.
Yeah. Speaking of the sewer project, is anything gonna happen in our neighborhood on the river this winter, or is that something that happens this spring?
In your Riverwood Hills,
Yeah, the river,
the only thing you'll see is lines from the lift station that's down by the playground area in the Riverwood Hills Park.
okay,
Up through that park area, that's the only place you're gonna see any activity.
but like, remember how you had to get your phosphorus credits or something with the river work? Or is that,
Yeah,
Not
they
gonna
have
happen.
that, they've got it. That side, we've got it. Still having to get the credits with Cedar Woodlands, but
Oh, the river restoration project?
yeah,
Yeah, that's in the river bend. You won't see, that won't affect your area.
well, that's over here instead.
no, River Bend, which is the new, yeah.
So that's it.
And the other one is
Oh, no,
Cedar.
River Bend is next to Riverwood Hills.
Yeah.
Okay,
So you might see,
I'm just trying to figure out how they're gonna access that.
I have to
But-
apologize. I
Yeah,
had one tree that was in Carroll Cowden Park that we
Oh, good.
No, 3 ash trees that were a total of
Yeah?
$1,600 to take those out.
Okay.
Wait, and that was, they need to come down?
They need to come down. They're really tough. shape.
So what do you think then would be the? Trees, about 6 trees in town.
I gotta add all that up again. 'Cause I've got. Now I am confused.
Ryland, are you able to get that camera to work, the one in the front?
It shoots there. It shoots like way.
Use the podium.
Yep. It's podium and audience camera.
That's the audience.
We talk to each other,
True.
you know what I mean? So if we talk to Zoom, we do this. And then they see the back of our heads and we look ridiculous. That's just how it is.
I love it.
Or-
Okay, do you have any questions for the minutes, or do you think you're good, Dina?
Oh, I've got lots of questions, but I'll figure it out.
Well, Lance lives nearby.
Yes, I know.
What am I living now?
I asked her if she had any questions for the minutes, and she said she has lots, but I
Now we're
said,
good. We're good.
she says she's good right now. Okay, so then we can move to the next thing. And I think a lot of this is just kind of just keep things on our radar. For Alice Park, I think it's brilliant how it got closed before the biggest snowstorm, so that was perfect.
Fabulous, yeah.
So that was good,
Good job, Keith.
yes.
Mhm.
And then the Dramet, so Ryland, do you need help with the dam and grist mill panels, or are they already designed?
Well, they need help. I think you can take it off the agenda. I still want to do it. It's just I don't have an update for you.
Right?
It's sitting there right by my desk, so it's not gonna go away.
Not, right? I want to make sure that people are not climbing on that stuff. We have to tell them
What's
that. I want to make sure people are not climbing on that stuff down there.
Climbing on what's not.
On the,
I haven't seen anybody, but have you heard?
That's what someone, I don't even remember how I heard this, but someone was like, yeah, and then they have that stuff down there and the kids can climb on it. And I'm like, I hope your children aren't climbing on it,
it's
You know,
so
the dam gate?
rusty and
right?
dirty.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, what are you gonna do?
I know, we already put a nice rail so people don't jump off the
I don't know.
platform, right? So that's as far as we can go. Okay, that's fair. All right, I like it. Okay,
Cannot babysit all of it.
I know. All right, so so what I'm curious about, I like keeping these seedling trees. I want to check those out. They're doing really good in the campground. But I just like having them on the agenda so we don't forget about them in the spring. So what kind of, Dana, have you been down there to know what kind of use the previous lake bed is getting this winter?
My sister has been down there quite a bit and it's
Okay.
getting used, yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Cool. And then, does anybody know if Garden Park is getting any use? I haven't been down there, but. And that's just kind of out of curiosity, really, you know? And then I like keeping the backboard for the tennis court on here as a placeholder. And have you guys received any complaints about not being able to access River Park on the weekends, or is it good? Right,
The streets get plowed, maybe not the day of the storm, but within a couple of days they get plowed, so
right? Okay. So
in
we're
River
doing good.
Park, I'm assuming some of the paths in Riverwood Hills, I haven't seen that for sure.
The kids like it when the snow plow doesn't come, when they don't plow because they can use that as a hill, to slide down the
And which one is that?
street
At
and River Park.
River Park?
Oh, before, yeah, that's smart.
Before they plow, they go,
Right,
it's a good sledding hill.
exactly. And you can watch them from your house where you're nice and warm. Okay. So we're still in the process for all of this stuff. Trails to the park from Riverwood Hills Park, Memorial Park, that whole playground thing, we're working on that, Master Gardener program, we'll see if they get excited this spring. They tell me they're mainly waiting for that water spigot, outdoor water source. Something they would like, but that would also help us with the planters too. So that's what I got on there. He claims he can do an easy water spigot, so we'll see what happens.
I have no interest.
I know, right? That's fair. And then, I'm not, should I be leaving that inventory of trees in the city parks on the agenda or, huh?
Done.
It is done, right? So it's done and in,
It's in
Kane's
somebody's
files,
database someplace.
right, in the city's files. And then you're gonna be doing a little bit with that for the DAB grant
yeah.
application, right?
Little bit.
Okay. All right, and then I don't really have anything too exciting for the task list right now. So I kind of feel like I'm good. Does anyone have anything else they want to talk about tonight?
I will add to the council agenda to ask Joe and Stantec to proceed with doing the design work for the Riverwood Hills path.
Okay.
Lane to the playground area, or it's 300 feet within the playground area, whatever's not affected by the sewer project.
Okay.
'Cause we need to get that going, so we get some good quotes fairly early.
So,
Which one? Riverwood Hills Park?
Riverwood Hills Park Trail.
you say 300 feet from the playground?
Yeah.
You said 300 feet from the playground?
In 300 feet west of the playground. That's where that's the area that won't be affected. We don't want to go any further towards the playground because it'll be affected by the sewer project.
Okay,
So we're stopping 300 feet west of the playground from Estes Lane down to that point.
Okay.
300 feet west of the playground.
all right. So in 2 weeks at council, you'll suggest to Joe Palin and Stan Tech to get working on
Start that process.
to get the estimates and whatnot. That sounds great. Cool. And then, so I guess the two things, well, you tell me not to tell the council about FYI items, but so do we tell them about the EAB grant now, or do we tell them about the EAB grant after we get it? Right?
Yeah, after you get it.
Just put it in the minutes.
So this.
Put it
Yeah, it's in the
on
minutes and then this goes into our consent agenda and
Right?
so technically
It's
we.
just, yeah, it's being worked on,
We're trying to
submitted.
eliminate FYIs in our agenda and put them to the consent, unless it needs motion or action by the council.
Okay, and that's what it's called, a consent
Yeah.
agenda includes the minutes?
Yeah,
that
minutes,
of other
everybody's
committees?
minutes.
Okay.
That's where we approve all of the meeting minutes.
Can we go home now?
I think so. Do you want to make a motion?
So move.
All right. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you so much for being here. and Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, Don.
Happy New
Happy New Year.
Yeah, go like this.
Bye.
Bye.
Start school.
Oh, very good.
All right.
Last semester.
All right, thank you, Lance.
Yeah, where are you going to
Thank
school?
you, Lance.
College is
Hearing
ever.
Today, New England
Gonna
Aquarium.
make it. Very good.
Like it. Okay, so is anybody gonna want my willow tree?
So you've been, accepted or still looking?
Yeah,
What
I
do
saw
I
my
do with it?
application, they accepted
Ask
it.
my neighbor if he wants to cut it,
Let it rot.
right? The deer like
Is
it.
it all done online, I suppose?
I mean, if you want to cut it up and pile up the branches so the critters will have something to live in.
That's true.
Friends of ours. at home,
I had-
some
the coolest thing
online,
happened-
Some are visits, so we're hybrid.
On Sunday.
Yeah?
So we have starlings that come in and they're just peanut butter hogs.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them, I have a